Alright, in this video we're going to take a look at using elimination to solve our systems, okay? So remember, with elimination, the goal was to pick a variable to cancel out from each of our equations after we add them together, and then use that to solve for the other variable. Okay, so looking at my equations, I've got equation 1 and equation 2. I need to choose either x or y to eliminate. And remember, we want to multiply by something if we have to make it where I can add them together and it makes a 0. All right, so let's say I decide to cancel out my y's, all right, because I notice that I have a 4y and an 8y, and I know that those two numbers have something in common, right? I know that all I have to do to make them be the same is multiply 4 by a 2, and then I'll have an 8y and an 8y. Now, it's not enough for them to just be the same. I need them also to be opposite signs. So I'm actually going to multiply by a -2, because I want one to be a positive 8y and the other to be a negative 8y. Okay, and it doesn't matter which is which. It doesn't matter if it's the top number or the bottom number. So when I go through and rewrite this, when I do -2 times all of equation 1, that's going to give me negative 16x minus 8y equals 16. Okay, that's from equation 1. Equation 2 is not changing. It's staying 9x plus 8y equals 19. So that's still equation 2. Now that my y's are the same number but opposite signs, I'm going to combine my like terms through the two equations. So negative 16x plus 9x gives me negative 7x. And then negative 8y plus 8y cancels out and makes a 0, so it's gone. And then 16 plus 19 is 35. So now I have negative 7x equals 35. So I'm going to divide both sides by -7 to get x by itself. And that will give me x equals -5. So that's part of my solution set. My x value is -5. So now I need to find my y. So it doesn't matter which equation I choose, but for one of my equations, I'm going to use the fact that x equals -5 to replace my x. So let's say I just roll with equation 1, right? Equation 1 was 8x plus 4y equals -8. I'm using the original equation 1. And I'm going to replace my x with that -5. So this will be 8 times -5 plus 4y equals -8. Right, so going through and simplifying, 8 times -5 is -40, plus 4y equals -8. Next, I'm going to add 40 to each side. Golly. And that gives me 4y equals 32. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 4. And I get y equals 8. So my y value is an 8. So my solution is -5, 8. Right, so let's try this again. Here's our next system. Okay, so looking at this, once again, I look at my y's here, and I notice that they're both equal right now. They're both -1 y's. Okay, remember that if we don't see a number, it's a 1 in front of that variable. So all I need to do is I need to pick one of my equations to change to a positive 1y. So let's say I decide to change my equation 2. I want that to be the positive 1. I could have picked equation 1. That's okay. It doesn't matter. But I'm going to go with equation 2, and I want that to become a positive 1y because I want it to add to the negative 1y to make a 0. So my equation 1 is not changing. Okay? It's staying like it was. My equation 2, I'm going to go through and distribute. I'm multiplying everything by -1 in the whole equation. So that will become a -1x plus 1y equals -2. That's my equation 2. Now that my y's are equal but opposite, I'm going to add them together. So 6x plus -1x makes 5x. -1y plus 1y makes 0, so it's gone. And then I equal -15. So now I'm going to divide both sides by 5, and I get x equals -3. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the fact that x equals -3, and I'm going to use it in one of my equations for my x. Doesn't matter which equation I choose. Let's say I go with equation 2 this time. It was x minus 1y equals 2. So I'm going to replace the x with -3. So this will be -3 minus 1y equals 2. Now nothing's multiplying the -3, so I can ignore the parentheses. I know I need to add it to move it to the other side so I can get y by itself. So that's going to give me -1y equals 5. Then I divide both sides by -1, and I get y equals -5. So my solution set, x goes first, and then my y. So -3, -5. All right, last one. Okay, I need to try to get either my x's or my y's to be the same but opposite signs. It doesn't matter which one I pick. Let's say this time I decide I want to make my x's cancel out. Okay, I'm just dead set. I want that to happen. So 7 and 3, I got to think about what they can both equal up to. Like, I've got to multiply both of them by something here, because I can't do 3 times something to make it a 7. And same thing for trying to turn a 7 into 3. One thing that we can do is we can multiply them by each other, and then that will make them into the same number. So I can multiply my first equation by a 3, and I can multiply my second equation by a 7. Now I also need these to be opposite signs. They're both positive right now, so one of them needs to be a negative. I'm just going to go ahead and make my 7 the negative. That's what I'm going to multiply by. Alright, so my equation 1, I'm going to multiply everything by positive 3. So I get 21x minus 24y equals 60. My equation 2, I'm multiplying everything by -7. So I've got -21x plus 14y equals -42. Okay, so notice x's are the same but opposite, so I'm ready to add my two equations together. 21x minus 21x makes 0, so that's gone. -24y plus 14y is -10y. And then 60 plus -42 going to be 18. And now I'm going to divide both sides by -10. And that's going to simplify down to y equals divided by 2 is 9 over 5. -9 over 5. So now I'm going to use that, and I'm going to plug it into one of my equations for the y. It doesn't matter which equation I pick. Let's say I go with my original equation 1. It was 7x minus 8y equals 20. So instead of y, I'm going to put the -9 over 5 there. So this will be 7x minus 8 parentheses -9 over 5 equals 20. So going through and simplifying, I've got 7x plus, and then 8 times 9 over 5 is going to be 72 over 5 equals 20. Then I've got to subtract 72 over 5 from each side. And then that's going to give me 7x equals 28 over 5. And then the last thing I need to do here is divide both sides by 7. And that gives me x equals 4/5. Okay, so my solution set, x is 4/5, y is negative 9/5.